TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israel sustains heavy losses as the war against Islamist Hamas in the Gaza Strip persists. Washington ups its pressure on Jerusalem vis-à-vis humanitarian aid related to the Gaza Strip. Hostilities escalate along Israel's northern front as prospects for wider escalation continues to rise. Israel paid a heavy price in its multi-front war as it unyieldingly persists with determination to deepen its tactical achievements versus the Islamist Hamas in the Gaza Strip. IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi visited the central sector of the Palestinian enclave for a situational assessment on Friday night. While discussing the fight with commanders of Division 99, General Halevi urged the forces to remain vigilant by maintaining a heightened level of preparedness to confront any threat as the fighting in the terror-plagued territory persists. Regrettably, the following day in the Rafah sector, an Engineering Corps Armored Personnel Carrier, or APC, which according to an initial investigation had its door evidently open during transit, sustained a direct hit by an RPG, claiming the lives of 8 IDF soldiers. Subsequently, merely several hours later in the central Gaza Strip, at least 2 reserve soldiers of the 99th Division were also regrettably killed when their tank was struck by a heavily loaded, improvised explosive device. Consequently, Jerusalem's top defense official, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, traveled to Rafah to receive a first account on both deadly incidents.
Here at the border of Rafah, I came to take a closer look at the difficult events that took place yesterday in which we lost 11 fighters, 8 of them here in this sector in the Rafah region. We are strict about sending the troops only for worthy missions. These missions are difficult, and to our deep regret, these come at a very heavy price. This is a battle of determination, a battle of perseverance, and we must continue to bring about the defeat of the enemy. I want to express my pain and sorrow and join the mourning of the bereaved families and send reinforcement to each and every one of them.
The painful price for liberty has been felt throughout the nation of Israel as this weekend's fallen have been laid to rest. In the northern Druze village of Beit Jan, Captain Wasim Mahmoud, who served as a mechanized engineering company deputy commander at the 162nd Division, received an honorable final procession before being laid to rest.
You led your soldiers with bravery, determination, and professionalism. You were a great and loved commander.
Separately, at the military cemetery on Mount Herzl in Jerusalem, the young sister of Sergeant Moshe Zimblist eulogized her brother as many Israeli mourners attended the funeral in support of his bereaved family.
The best brother ever.
You're the best brother ever. You are very talented and such a good builder. You have such an amazing personality. He always liked to help people with a smile and did it with modesty and humility. Thank you for being the best brother in the world, and you will always be in my heart.
As the other funerals were held throughout the country, in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu relayed his deepest sympathies to the families of the fallen.
Today we paid an additional heart-rending price in our just war in defense of our homeland. With deep sorrow and in heavy mourning, I bow my head together with all citizens of Israel and weep over the fall of our heroic fighters, Deputy Company Commander in an engineering battalion, Captain Wasim Mahmoud, and additional heroic soldiers whose names have yet to be released. Our hearts are shattered before this terrible loss. The entire people of Israel embraces the dear families in their most difficult hour of grief.
As the cost of war is heavy to bear, The Prime Minister asserted the need to remember the reason of why Israel is fighting.
אני מחזק את לוחמינו ומפקדינו האמיצים.
I stand by our brave fighters and commanders who are imbued with the sacred mission to defeat our enemies and return our hostages. When the price is so heavy, let us remember what we are fighting for. We are fighting to ensure our existence and our future. We are fighting to return all of our hostages. This difficult war was forced upon us by an abhorrent and murderous enemy. On the feast of Simchat Torah, the Hamas monsters invaded our kibbutzim, our communities, our cities, and a nature festival of young people who desired only good. They butchered, raped, beheaded, burned, dismembered, and abducted our brothers and sisters, infants, children, women and men, the young and the old. This monstrous enemy has no intention of stopping here. Together with the other parts of Iran's axis of evil, it will continue trying to destroy us. If we do not stop it, it will not stop. Therefore, there is no alternative to victory.
While both international and domestic pressure is seemingly mounting, Premier Netanyahu reiterated the need for long fortitude and to remember the goals of the war at hand.
Citizens of Israel, do not let anyone distract you from one clear and simple fact. Despite the heavy and unsettling price, we must cling to the goals of the war. The destruction of Hamas's military and governing capabilities, the return of all of our hostages, making certain that Gaza will never again constitute a threat to Israel, and the return of our residents securely to their homes in both the north and the south. We are in the midst of a very difficult war. The war is being conducted on several fronts, including the international front. We are ready for many additional challenges. It is at this time especially that we must show our people's strength of spirit, thanks to which we have overcome all of our enemies. So it will be this time as well. It is the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
It is important to know that Washington has evidently doubled down on its pressure on Jerusalem, particularly regarding humanitarian measures vis-à-vis the Gaza Strip. The degree of this pressure has been made public when an influencer on the Chinese-controlled TikTok platform asked President Joe Biden to elaborate on what he is doing regarding the humanitarian plight of the residents of the Gaza Strip.
I have made very clear to the Israelis what they have to do in the near term. If they don't, what's going to happen?
Meanwhile, the IDF announced that it would suspend daytime military operations in the vicinity of a humanitarian corridor in the southern Gaza Strip to essentially help facilitate the flow of additional aid into the enclave. TV7, however, could not immediately corroborate whether President Biden's leveled threat to Jerusalem was the cause of the referred to tactical pause. Turning to northern Israel, where the IDF is gearing up to confront Hezbollah, as the Iranian proxy has escalated the so-called low-intensity war in recent weeks.
The Hezbollah terror organization in Lebanon has been escalating its attacks against Israel. Since deciding to join the war that Hamas started on October 7th, Hezbollah has fired over 5,000 rockets, anti-tank missiles, and explosive UAVs from Lebanon at Israeli families, homes, and communities. Hezbollah's increasing aggression is bringing us to the brink of what could be a wider escalation, one that could have devastating consequences for Lebanon and the entire region. Hezbollah is jeopardizing the future of Lebanon so that it can be a shield for Hamas, a shield for the Hamas terrorists, the one that murdered the elderly, raped women, burned children, and kidnapped Jews, Muslims, and Christians during their massacre on October 7th.
As hostilities along Israel's northern front are seemingly intensifying, with the IDF launching dozens of retaliatory strikes on a daily basis, over 100,000 residents of northern Israel who've been displaced since October 8th of last year are increasingly urging Jerusalem to resolve their plight. And while Jerusalem's political echelons have yet to take a decision on the matter, the IDF declared its preparedness for war.
When we say that we will not let October 7th happen again on any one of our borders, we mean it. Because of Hezbollah's refusal to comply with UN Security Council Resolution 1701, because of Hezbollah's military infrastructure, weapons, and fire at Israel from the area south of the Litani River in southern Lebanon, and because of Lebanon's failure to enforce 1701 on Hezbollah, Israel will take the necessary measures to protect its civilians until security along our border with Lebanon is restored. One way or another, we will ensure the safe and secure return of Israelis to their homes in northern Israel. This is not up for negotiation.
As prospects of war erupting between Israel and the Iranian proxy Hezbollah intensify, Admiral Hagari stressed that Iran is the chief culprit, essentially driving the region into an all-out war.
Iran's terror proxies continue to drag the region to destruction. Israel will continue fighting against Iran's axis of evil on all fronts, in Gaza, in Lebanon, in other fronts, as we work towards a more secure future for the entire Middle East. October 7th cannot, will not happen again on any one of Israel's border. Israel has a duty to defend the people of Israel. We will fulfill that duty at all costs.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. It is important to highlight that TV7 Israel is a donation-based non-profit ministry with all of our productions available free of charge. Therefore, we would appreciate it if you'd consider making a donation. You can do so via our website, www.tv7israelnews.com. Separately, I'd like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our upcoming TV7 Israel updates. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.